I feel that America is my life. America is my home. America has given me many opportunities, and it's all I know. I came here when I was a 1-year-old, and my future is here.
So-called dreamers you're hearing from reacting to President Trump's expected decision on the DACA program. The Obama-era executive order protects some illegal immigrants from deportation if they were brought to the U.S. as children. President Trump promising during the campaign to scrap the program. But House Speaker Paul Ryan made the case for a compromise today, saying this: President Obama does not have the authority to do what he did. Having said all of that, there are people who are in limbo. These are kids who know no other country, who were brought here by their parents and don't know another home. And so I really do believe there needs to be a legislative solution. Joining me now is Bree Payton, staff writer for The Federalist, and Marjorie Clifton, former consultant to the Obama campaign and the principal for Clifton Consulting. Marjorie, I want your thoughts first on Paul Ryan's suggestion there.
Gosh, it's a glorious one. It's actually refreshing, especially in these times, to hear rising above policy and moving to humanity. And, you know, Republicans and Democrats alike agree that it is inhumane to treat children, especially in this kind of situation. And we're talking about 800,000 children who've been brought here, people that have been brought here as children, who've grown up as Americans, and talking about revoking their immigration status here in the U.S. So I think, again, we have to set aside opinions about how Obama handled it and find a bipartisan way to look at policies that will frankly make this a pathway for these kids long term.
Bree, what did you make of that suggestion of a compromise from Paul Ryan?
Yeah, well, I think the fact is that you can't fix something that President Obama just made out of thin air. And you know what? I'm so glad that we are talking about all of these children that are victims in this situation, because what often gets neglected or ignored are the tens of thousands of children who were brought here under the auspices of DACA who are now missing and are likely exploited. A Senate investigation a couple years ago found that many of the children who the government was supposed to keep track of, placed in foster homes or placed with relatives, simply went missing or were found working in very hard conditions in migrant farm camps. So that's something that often gets ignored. These children are being brought here and they're being lost, and it's likely that they're being sold into sex slavery or harsh migrant labor conditions.
So we're left with the question, what does the president do? And Marjorie, we know that we've heard from President Trump on multiple occasions say this is a very difficult decision for him. As you just heard from John Robertson, the president himself, that decision could come tomorrow, it could come Sunday, it could come Monday. But as far as the vice president and him sort of giving some guidance as to where the president is going, this is what the Vice President Mike Pence said to ABC just a little while ago. Listen.
Well, President Trump has said all along that he's giving very careful consideration to that issue, and that when he makes his decision, he'll make it, as he likes to say, with big heart. And I know that he will, John.
So, Bree, that was the vice president on the ground yesterday in Texas answering questions about this. So which way does President Trump end up going?
Yeah, I mean, I think he owes it to all of the people who voted for him, who he promised repeatedly he would get rid of this bad law that's resulted in tens of thousands of children who have gone missing and have been exploited. I mean, at the end of the day, this program that President Obama created is so emblematic of solutions that Democrats like to come up with when it comes to immigration. They like to give people for just enough freedom in order to keep them here and keep them beholden to them and keep them to continue to vote for them, instead of actually liberate them and actually grant them citizenship and actually come up with a solution.
Marjorie?
The reason immigration policy matters is that so people are protected. And again, these are kids that have no place to go after here. They're going to be here in the country. And if you see in Houston, the reason that the mayor had to come out and say, regardless of your immigration status, we want to know where you are, it illustrates perfectly why immigration policy is so fundamental. Because people are staying, but they would rather drown than get picked up by the police and sent back to their home country. The timing of this is terrible. If the president is smart, he needs to defer any conversation about this, uphold the current policy, allow us to get through this disaster. And Texas, which holds 120,000 of these kids that would be impacted by DACA, now is not the time.
All right. Well, so, as you heard from some of those DACA recipients, right as we led in, that uncertainty is killing many of them. So that decision we do expect sometime in the next several days. Thanks to both of you for coming on to discuss that. All right. Well,